Come on hide here. We're back again. We're back with the video that you've all been waiting for, or at least the one that we've been waiting to do. The reassembly of this Minnkota Ultrex backwards trolling motor. You can see it there. Yeah, we're here. We're going to put it back together. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the very beginning. We're going to tell you why we're grinding. We're going to tell you what happened in the beginning. We're going to tell you how to fix the what do you call those things?
The brushes, man.
The brushes. The brushes. I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff. Remember, guys, I know nothing. He's the man.
We've already had it together. We've tested it. It's done great. So we're really satisfied with what we have put together. But we're going to take it apart. We're going to take it apart really quick. We're going to maybe answer a few of the questions that you had from previous takedown videos. Kind of explain to you why we did a few things the way we did them. And we'll go from there. So we're going to just rush right into this. We're going to take the prop off real quick here.
Pretty easy stuff on the prop.
Yeah, pretty easy stuff. You do have a fiber lock nut on there. That keeps you from losing it. It locks itself on there. Takes a wrench to get it off. And that always happens.
Oh, no. Where are you going, man?
Runaway parts. That'll happen in the lake too, so make sure it falls in the boat.
Yeah,
nice
if you're in the boat and that comes apart, you're done.
Nice stainless steel washer that you probably won't have an extra of in the boat. So next, that goes right up against the front of this prop. The prop has the keyway for the shear pins right here. This is the shear pin for it. We'll set those over here out of the way. And I've already taken out one of these long bolts. One thing you're going to look at, we took this together one time and that O-ring is already gone. So these are not a multi-use thing. So if you take these bolts out for any reason or you got to tighten them, you're going to have to replace those O-rings. Wow, that's kind of a bad design. I would have thought they would have done something better than that. But
that one break in this one little, what did you call these seals?
O-rings.
O-ring. That one right there can put water in the control motor.
Yeah, that little piece right there.
That could disable this unit. It did disable this unit.
Yeah, a little black curly one like that.
Horrible Minnkota.
Same seal on the other bolt, and it has similar damage on it.
That's 2 points of in water intrusion.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to look at these seals. We talked about these seals earlier. These are the seals that go in the back side of this lower unit, and the shaft spins inside these seals. And these seals are what keeps the water from going in around that spinning shaft and getting into the motor as well. So as the bearings and such get worn out on this, these seals get worn out, that's another point of water intrusion. And these seals didn't feel all that bad, but they're pretty crusty. They're not very flexible anymore. There's not a lot of flex left in those.
What? That's just sealing everything out from water getting inside the unit, right?
Trying to keep the water from getting inside the unit.
Which was the original freaking problem.
The original problem, that's right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just pull this straight on out.
Can you pull on it?
Yeah, go ahead. Pull it straight on out. There you go.
The magnets are tough, Bubba. Uh-oh, the washers came out.
That's right. Permanent magnets inside there. You'll have to find those. You see it sticking there?
Oh, there it is. You're magic.
So we have a fiber washer there, and that allows that to run up against between this. Allows it to run up against this and a bronze bushing that is pressed into the lower unit there. So when you take it apart, nonetheless, this will get tore up. This will slide off anyway on it.
Have a seat, bro. You're tired, ain't you? There you go.
This bronze bushing. That's right. So as this bronze bushing gets wore, you can see a little slop on that one.
Sloppy.
Then we have these seals riding in the background here with a little bit of side-to-side play in this, a little side-to-side play in this, and next thing you know, we got water intrusion.
They riding dirty.
So the next time we rebuild this, we will replace this whole shaft. It is starting to get a little bit of a wear mark in it. We're going to make this one last another season, at least the rest of this season.
hot too, man. I need to get back on the water.
We got to get back on the water. So you've seen us grinding on the back of this. This shaft, we mushroomed this shaft a little bit, getting the original bearing off. We had a shaft that got mushroomed when we first tried to take the bearing off with a hammer and a punch. And we looked like a couple monkeys in a football, but it didn't work.
You just see me run the bumper on my truck with a chisel and a big old, well, no, it wasn't even a big sledgehammer. It was just a little light sledgehammer. I got this little, and I'm banging and I hit it harder. I can't hit it any harder, man. I'm going to break my fingers. Anyway, it did some damage.
It was just enough when we went to tighten all this up. We had the shaft bottoming out on the inside of this back plate here. So we took a little bit of material off the end of this, and that way when we clamped all this together, it clamped up nice and tight. It has to be nice and tight because we have O-rings on both ends of this that are the sealing surfaces. Alright, so enough about that piece. So we're going to come over here and meat potatoes of this, which is the new brush plate.
I like meat and taters.
Meat and taters. I like him our taters. Alright, so we got a new brush plate. You originally seen in one of the videos, you seen me trying to radius one of these to get this to stick on, and there was just no good answer to this. The original ones were welded on, so the ones we found aftermarket, the ones I have available in stock, they just don't fit on this really good. So when you put this back together, the problem is they're wanting to pop off. Well, it takes 3 hands to put this together. You have 2 brushes and they are both spring loaded, so you're trying to hold on to those and put all this together at the same time. So I replaced the wires with some new wires and I hard soldered them onto the new brush plate. And this one's already been tested. It run it ready to load, and you see all the solder, none of it melted off. I mean, it's going to do everything we want to do.
The last video that we did, we clued to you grinding down this brush. We also mentioned a trick on getting these back together. Can you expand on that a little bit? Why were you grinding on those brushes?
All right, so when we put this back together, we're still using the used shaft here. And if you've seen our prior videos, this was just blackened to where it had been ran into water and with one of the brushes not making a good contact on this existing plate.
So the whole thing, if you didn't see the video before, the whole thing was more looking like this color here on the whole unit.
So we have brushes that ride in there. This is the old brush plate, and you could see where the end of these brushes rode right there. You can see the edge of this groove right here, okay? Well, when I turned this, I did this by hand in a lathe, and I didn't get all the way up to the edge of this, so there's a notch, there's a little bit of a groove right there from the original surface. It tapers real gently, but there is a lip right there that you can clip on. So what was happening was, what happened was, as our new brushes was riding on this, they're riding high over here on this grip, and you can see how that would create a gap in that if it's not setting on there square. We want those brushes to sit there and line up nice on this. So what we did is I took a rotary tool in mill and I give these a nice gentle radius right here. And that way it's not riding high on this, it's making good contact in our nice brush area. And you can see that gentle radius. You can see the difference on the old versus the new where I put that little radius in it right there. And that's going to allow it to make 100% contact. I did it on both of them. It's not a scientific measurement. It's just enough to get you off that end radius, that step right there. So that way our brushes, as you can see here, they're riding nice and solid. They're transmitting the energy in there. Nice polished surface. I would say that actually has minimal arcing when it's under load. They're seating in really nice. They look nice on both sides.
Right on. So those things wear down kind of like brake pads.
Man, just like brake pads. It's a good analogy. They're made out of similar material. It's a high carbon material.
Yeah. All right, so just like brake pads wear out every once in a while, then brushes wear out every once in a while.
So you asked a question about what was I doing to help get these in there? Well, these are spring loaded up here on the sides. As you can see on this old one, it's got this spring. Nonetheless, it's spring loaded energy. So what we do is we want to be able to put this shaft back in here without these springs being deployed, because if the springs are closed, you're never going to get it over that edge when it goes back together. That's going to be pushed in there, and you're going to end up with this problem right here when that plate goes in. So we pull these springs back. You'll see these springs here and here, and that allows that to slide back. And you push these down a little bit, and it will provide enough tension so these actually stay back as you slide the parts together. And then when you get it all together, right before you set this up, we're going to take this little hook right here, and we're going to pull this spring back, and we're going to let it sit right in that groove right there. See that groove? All right, that's what it actually rides on when it's all put back together.
And that's both sides.
Both sides. We have to do that to both sides. If we missed a side on this, it just simply wouldn't work.
Right on. So chucklehead terms basically means when you go to stab your dadgum thing through the hole, you don't want them airbrushes having a grip on it.
That's right.
You want it loose so she slides in nice and easy. That's what she said.
Chucklehead. So, as we went back together, you see the video where we tried to get this thing put back together, and we were struggling with these wire ends, and we even adjusted the height on them, thinking we could grind some of the end off of them a little bit, and we clamped them down, and we did everything we could, and I just wasn't satisfied with that.
What you doing, Hyde?
Trimming.
Why was you trimming that, man?
It's not seating all the way against that lip right there.
So we come in here and hard soldered. We put new wires in here and hard soldered these.
Yes, he did.
And these are polarity specific. All right. If you wire these backwards, the motor's going to spin backwards. It's a DC motor. That's how they work. So.
Is that why you put a B right there and a aura
right there?
Right there.
One would stand for black and one would stand for red.
That's right.
And it was the original wire colors. When I took it apart, it had a black and red wire in it. Now it has two grays. Nonetheless, the gray wires are actually marked every inch or so. One says CV and one says BG. That means control voltage, and the other one means battery ground. Pretty simple translation.
I don't get. Somebody tried to explain electricity to me one time, man, and they said, Alamo, it's real simple. All you do is there's a boat and the water flows, electricity flows one way up the river, and you're up shit creek without a paddle, or it's something with a river and the flowing of the. I never got it, and I still don't. So that's why you're hearing.
As you look in this, it's got a plate that goes between these two magnets in here.
Oh, the plate.
The plate.
Freaking plate, man. Let me show you this plate, dude. I hate this plate. I really, really hate this plate, man.
It's hard.
We struggle with it. This plate he's talking about, and you'll struggle with it too. I'm not touching the plate. So this plate, man, you got stuff that runs through there, stuff that runs through there, and if that thing, I don't know if you can see, but there's all kinds of grind marks on it where when we were putting it together last time, we didn't do it right, so something was grinding on something. You can see the grinds, but there's a very specific way. You can't just slap that thing in there like we did last time. You got to put it together right. Isn't that right, Hyde?
Well, a buddy of mine had taken this apart before I got a chance to work on it, so a few things it wasn't put back together just right. Nonetheless,
Did I do that?
I'm not pointing any fingers. I wouldn't point no fingers. Wouldn't call nobody out. You know how it is.
I think it was me.
Oh, well. So these bolts go front to back in this, all right? Nice long bolts. They thread into these holes here. The bottom of this nose cone here, all right? And they go front to back. Well, this bolt, these long bolts, one of them goes across the top of it like this. Look at that. So if you took yours apart and you don't remember how this is supposed to go together,
We didn't.
well, we took
We had
it
to
apart.
review our own damn video to figure it out.
Well, we took it apart and it's set for 3 weeks. You know that if you watch the videos.
Hold on, it's hot in Texas, man. We're in Texas, you ain't in Texas. It's like 125,000 degrees right now. So we had to take a break.
And we both have boats, so you know, just like professional NASCAR drivers, when one of our boats breaks down, we just jump in the other one and take off. Our equipment is fully transitional to one boat to the next. Most of the high dollar stuff anyway, except the trolling motors.
Trolling motors you can't move over, but those live scopes and those monitors we can. We're going to show you how to do that one day. Not in this video, but one of these videos coming up, we're going to show you how to build a fully mobile live scope unit, like one of those ice fishing rigs, kind of, but mobile for your boat here, freshwater. It's pretty cool, man.
We got a few tricks on that one that makes the mounting significantly cheaper than what you can buy it for at Bass Pro Shop. Oh, did I say Bass Pro Shop? Bass Pro Shop and some of the other dealers that sell this stuff. So nonetheless, let's get back to the trolling motor, to that story. You can see the hair standing up on the back of his neck already.
You can see about Bass Pro Shop.
So we're going to make sure that this boat goes long ways. It doesn't go through the side like that.
That's what we thought it did.
One would think it might.
It looked like it. That's where it was supposed to go.
Nope. You look hard, you'll see why that was grinding. And that's because that boat was pushing that over to the side. Yeah, I had to wait till Alamo left so I could take this apart and think about it. Yeah. He just offered just enough distraction that I didn't see that the first time around. Yeah. So, nonetheless, at times.
All right, so here we're going to stab this thing. So Hyde's got it set up here. They've got strong magnets, so keep a hold. He's lined up on this end. He doesn't want my help, he said. So I'm going to just film it. Those are those little clips right there that we were showing you earlier.
Now I'm going to take this little pick right here. I'm going to pull that up so that clears. I'm going to push that one down so that clears. And look at that. See how that goes together right over the top of that.
Now that it's clamped, where are you going to...
Where's this clamped? I got that over the edge of that. Now I can take and bring that right there.
Yes.
And I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom one. Yep. From the top down without bifocals. So I can't see it, but it has to be right there in that groove. Awesome. So that's how that goes together. And this thing is going, we have a new O-ring right here. This O-ring, this is going to be our last chance to look at all this. So you want to make sure your wires and everything as it goes together. You can gently look at it from the other side, but it's going to suck all together with those permanent magnets when it goes back together.
Man, that's nice.
Whew, did you hear that click in there?
Clickety click click.
Click, click.
I like it.
So we put on new O-rings on these. We got new O-rings, and there was a paint can that
under the table
as a little piece here. If you take a shot of these O-rings, you'll see how smashed they are. Just going together one time is what it is.
That was a new set of O-rings too. Dadgummit.
Yep. So we put just a little bit of something on there to keep them nice and smooth. So this is going to go back together. Again, we have this new nice smooth bearing going to roll in there against that. Put a little bit of oil in these so they bolts go in nice, and that they're going to come out next time. This cord right here goes this transducer. It's built in. Again, we're going to make sure that it goes in here and it doesn't rub on anything. So
did you put some grease in that housing where the bearing seats?
I did. We put some grease into that.
Is there anything else that's in that tip there? Weren't there some washers or something in there?
There are two washers. Here they look like this right here, and a spacer. These two washers, they're conical. You can see, and it has that spacer. The spacer's already in there. These are all in below that already. They're stuck in there with grease, and we stick them in there with the grease. That way, not only do they have some grease on them and they don't corrode, and we can take it apart next time easier, but also so this bearing slides together nice and easy.
If you remember, those pieces were the pieces from the previous video that had come off and were sticking inside the unit. That was the piece that was actually rattling around in there that we heard banging, bang, 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 bang. That was the grinding we were hearing, was that spacer grinding against the What do you call those things? Those steel...
The magnets.
Little magnets.
Permanent magnets.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, now you can see how that goes together. It's very important that that is on top of that. That holds that metal plate in there. Otherwise, if this bolt goes through there, it's going to hit on that shaft when it turns. So this is one of the footnotes you need to make to get when you put this back together. If it wasn't clear in our take apart instructions, that bolt goes on that side of that. We know this because we took it apart to figure out why that was grinding, and we made that mistake of putting it in the wrong spot. Very hard to see as you assemble it from this end.
It's very painful when you put it in the wrong spot, I've heard. Sometimes I stump Hyde. He don't know what to do or say, so he just keeps going.
We got this thing put back together. We got a nice big trash can full of water. We're going to test it right here in the garage before we take it to the lake. I don't want to travel all the way to the lake, drive out to the fishing hole, and then find out the damn thing don't work. That's not how we're going to do it. So we were lucky enough to have this big trash can. It's a big trash can.
Big old trash can.
We filled it full of water. We have some external 24-volt power supply coming in here, and we have an amp clamp. So we're going to be able to watch the load increase as the drag increases, as it pushes the water around the barrel. Pretty simple test, but this needs to work before you take it out on the water.
All this blah, 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 blah. What all that means to me is when this son of a gun gets on my boat, one, is it going to leak again? Because I'm not having that. Two, is it going to work and do the power and give everything I need? And three, what's the third thing that I care about? Oh, if it shuts up in the water, I don't want to hear it. I want the fish to hear it. I want to be quiet. So those are things I'm looking for out of this build. The rest of that stuff, I really don't know what that means. But hopefully it translates to something cool. So keep watching. I'm going to get you some GoPro footage of what it looks like once we get it on. And we're going to go over some of this electrical stuff that Hyde did to be able to get this running in our garage. So I'm going to switch to GoPro and let Hyde tell you a little bit about what he did to get this thing hooked up. All right, Hyde. So tell me, how the heck are we getting power out here to the garage?
So I got 24 volts coming in from a battery pack I've got. We've got an amp clamp here. We got a voltmeter clamped onto it so we can actually see. Sitting here, we are at 25.6 volts. This device is just turned on.
What's the power come from? Let me go to the garage. I mean, look at your van.
Oh. Now we know.
Oh my goodness. We got some batteries in the box. All right, that's how we're getting power. These are backup batteries for whatever they're for.
So as we turn this on, you'll hear the trolling motor start to make noise in the water. This dial will go up and we'll see the amps start to increase in this. We should see them max out somewhere around 30 amps max load based on this motor.
Cool. All right, so let me step on this side so we can see once you turn it on what we're looking for on amps.
All right, so we'll start back at the off, which we have 0.2. That's what it actually takes to turn this on. You'll see the lights on here. So
just what it takes to put it on, turn it on.
Just turns it on.
And we're at 25. Oh, we're going up.
All right, so there's level 3. We're about 3 amps. This is a scale that will actually start to increase as the load increases. You'd expect the voltage to go down just like it will in your boat.
Tornado going in there, son. Ooh, let's make some margaritas.
So full blast, we're 34, 33 amps. That's all right. A little bit of a voltage drop. We use the jumper cables here. Not ideal. So we turn it off. Things go to 0. This is another important test. As when we turn this on, it's going to be set at number 10, and this will, you'll be able to see the max that it goes to here. So we hit 39 amps, and then we stabilize back down to 35 to 33.
So I guess that's good. Again, my criteria, does it work? And evidently it does. So it's actually putting power that will move the boat. I'm good with that. Other criteria is this a dead gum thing gonna leak. So again, thank you, bucket. We ran it pretty good on a hard 10. I'm not seeing any bubbles. I'm not seeing anything coming up. All right, so we got power. We're running. Shut it down. How do we shut it down?
Just like you would if you was in a boat.
I'll shut it off.
What do you think about that?
What I think is,
I'll reach in here and just see.
they turn it on right now.
No. But it's not hot. And you're seeing it when we pulled it apart in front of you, right in front of the camera, it was all dry. And I would expect nothing other than the same thing and then it being all dry. So instead of disassembling that to see if it's leaking, what we will do between now and the installation, stick around for that install video. If you've never put one of these on, you might learn a few things. Nonetheless, if this is leaking, when we go to put it in a boat, the water is going to come out the top of this. So all we have to do to know if this is leaking is let this sit here for a few minutes, do its thing. If water gets in it, it'll pour right out the top of this when we turn it the other way.
Yeah, very good indicator of leak. I never thought of that, man.
That's also an indicator if you think yours is leaking, you don't have to disassemble it. Somehow with your boat, maybe a block of wood and a jack on a ton, raise this up to where it is downhill, and if that lower unit's leaking, that water will run right down the end of that.
And what he's talking about is laying it down in its resting position. Like put it up, put it in, go ahead and put it on your boat, and somehow get the end of this motor part up so the water can drain down the shaft into the head. Then pop the head. Water equals water equals.
Right.
You got problems. Come see us. We got you, baby.
We got you. We got you.
So comment if you got questions down. We'll get to you. If there's a specific part or a specific question you'd like more detail on, we've got hours and hours of footage of this stuff. We might actually be able to find it for you, and I'd be happy to post it or send it or whatever. Be sure to keep subscribing because we've got we got a pretty cool video coming up of us mounting this thing back on the boat. Some things to watch out for. Sometimes it's real easy, especially if you've got an existing trolling motor. Sometimes it's not. In our case, actually, it was pretty easy. For the first time ever that we've ever done anything, it seems like, that thing went on actually at a campsite in the middle of the night at Lake Limestone right before a big crappie trip that we were having. We actually bought this thing off of a guide, Colin Gonzalez, out at Lake Limestone. He was kind enough to, well, he sold it to me actually. First time I'd ever seen the technology, and he sold it to us. So this is that motor. So that warranty's gone now. Colin, just so you know, carrying your stuff apart, Bubba. Anyway, so subscribe, hit the bell, man. Those bells give you reminders of when we're doing cool stuff. So the next one we're going to put out is going to be mounting this thing on. We're going to take it to the lake this weekend. We're going to test it out. We're going to do some boat ramp videos. We're going to do some on the water videos. We're going to do some floating, skiing, floating tube videos. We're hopefully going to have some time in the water videos. And at some point this weekend, God willing, this trolling motor's working right. Man, I got a wet hook. I've got to get on the water. So tune in, stay with us, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. All your subscriptions help. Hi, you got anything, Bubba?
I don't have anything left to add. You guys have a great weekend. Be safe out there. And again, boat ramp etiquette. A lot of you guys want to pull your hair out. Be patient with the guy in front of you. I mean, come on. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to get your shit in and out of the water. And I said it. Man, you watch these guys, especially some of these professional guys that fish alone, man, they make it look easy.
They pull up, shoot it out, get it off, and then their trolling motor drives it back, man. Cool.
And hey, if you're at the boat ramp and you got any silly questions, feel free to ask one of these guys. We have been there. We understand your pain, and it's a lot easier to ask somebody for help than it is to listen to your old lady yell at you.
Or somebody else in the boat ramp going, "Get the hell out of my way! I'm trying to move my boat! Why are you blocking the whole ramp?" Don't be that guy.
Again, I have no patience for you if you're the guy wrenching on your boat and you have taken the battery out of your truck trying to fix your boat after boat
you
ran.
better pull that shit back up to the top and wait your turn to get back in, son. I gotta get on the water. Yeah.
We've seen it all.
So we're gonna talk about all this kind of stuff. So hope you tune in. We'd love to have you, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.